Okay. What are you drinking over there?
Jalapeno strawberry rain inferno. Thermogenic fuel.
That's what's the flavor of it?
Jalapeno strawberry.
That's disgusting.
It is the best fucking flavor. I don't care what anybody says.
No. Your buddy just made like an awesome video.
He did. Funny shit.
So, I don't like that one. They've got Red Dragon, which feels kind of sacrilegious.
It's like fruit punch, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what, like, Red Dragon is a biblical, it's like a painting, I believe. It's like, there's the movie Red Dragon.
Yeah.
But it's a biblical statement about Satan. So you're drinking Satan's blood.
Satan juice.
Yeah. There's jalapeno, strawberry, and then they got the blue one is terrible.
It is.
It's not good. Like,
it's like chalk.
I mean, it's better than that one.
It's like drinking Original Rockstar, where it's like chalky. Yeah. Just
what do I have here?
Star Blast.
It's brought to you by. Yeah. So we're kicking this episode off where we're gonna say a few things and then go into we're gonna watch the movie, because last time we just watched the movie and then we did our review of it, but we're going to be watching the movie Tusk today. And I think we're only gonna be doing 3 movies because, for one, we missed episode this week, and that's not really. I'm not really worried about missing episodes. There's no schedule we're on. It's just like make episodes as we can. But we were both so busy we didn't. I didn't even think about making like recording another episode or watching another movie. Mm-hmm. And then this week I was like, I don't know. We were like, we should fucking do another movie review. So, and last year we did 3. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me. It's hard. Last year was like indicative of how I feel about watching shit movies.
Yeah.
Like, and it's by the end of it was just like, it's not like physically exhausting. It's just mentally exhausting to sit there and be like, look at this. You have to sit through.
You have to sit through the whole fucking thing.
It's like watching somebody's home videos that you don't fucking know. You're like, damn it, this is such piss poor quality. Like, I couldn't watch Rubber 1 through 3. You know what I mean?
If was absolutely.
Logan's actually upset with the review we had of Rubber, because he loves that movie.
Really?
Yeah, he fucking loves it.
God damn it, Logan.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't think you do either.
I don't.
So
I mean, it was a brain
suck
trip.
It, Logan.
It was a brain trip, but god damn it, Logan.
Yeah, it's
so Rubber to Logan is like jalapeno strawberry rain to me.
And yeah.
All right, I see. Okay, I get it, Logan. I get it.
So, yeah, we're not going to be watching Rubber 2, but we will be watching...
Is there actually a Rubber 2?
I think there is, and it was like a really... It's probably like a YouTube video somebody made, but I saw
like a fucking bike tire this time or something.
No, it was a dude dressed up in tires, like on the fucking cover.
Fucking Michelin Man style?
So I don't know. It's probably bullshit. It's probably just some fucking meme somebody made somewhere.
Got it.
Because I don't see how they'd make a second one. I mean, it led for a sequel, but... Mm-hmm. Who the fuck would watch it?
A bunch of killer tires.
Maybe this one means something. Yeah, it's all the killer tires just rolling over the Hollywood Hills. You can't kill them. They just prop back up. What, are we going to stop making fucking tires still? Yeah, so we're watching Tusk. This one features Justin Long, real actor. There's a few surprise actors. I'm not going to ruin it because you didn't look up anything about it.
No, I didn't look up shit about it.
All right. So this one actually has famous actors. It's Justin Long was from Accepted and other Fare you may have watched. Famous actor, you know, and he is the main character of this one. He's the person that turns into the fucking thing, the walrus. From what I know, because I've only seen the trailers. And then there's some other surprise characters in this that I'm not going to... It's directed by Kevin Smith, so Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh,
Silent
okay.
Bob.
Got it.
He's the guy that directed it. And what do you think's going to happen in it?
Fuck, dude, I don't know. Just looking at the cover picture, that's as much... That's the depth I got into it.
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea what to expect other than he turns into one.
Yeah. I have heard kind of what happens is... Which I'm not ruining anything because it's a movie about a dude turning into a walrus. You go look up that. But I kind of know what happens at the ending. just because someone told me this dude Drew told me about Tusk a while ago. He said what happened, but I can't really remember, so I'll probably remember as I'm watching. But yeah, we're gonna watch Tusk, so listen to the fucking intro song. Let that lullaby soothe your soul, and we're gonna get into the movie, and then we'll do a review of it for you, so you don't have to watch it.
Those long tusks, all hard.
Oh, fucking hard Tusk!
This is the Violent Professional Podcast brought to you by AriesClothing.com.
All right, we are back from watching this fucking movie. We just finished Tusk. We just finished it. That's it. Thanks for listening to the review.
See you later.
Okay, let's fucking get into it. You want to do the storyline?
Man, oh fuck me.
I will say thank you to whoever suggested this.
Yes,
it's fucking one of the better ones I think that we've watched.
That was a good shitty movie.
Yeah. So
good shitty movie.
So I
don't want to go to Canada. That's for damn
yeah,
sure.
dude.
Takes place in Canada,
Manitoba, and where else?
What they say, Bifrost. A place called Bifrost. Even if
I don't
if
even know that's
a
the thing.
Place. Takes 2 hours to get to from Manitoba.
Yeah,
let
me look that up. You can start with talking about how it kicked off.
So Tusk. It starts out this dude named Wallace and his buddy they're podcasters. Ironically, two dudes that have a podcast, and they're semi-famous, I guess you could say, and they make plenty of money off their podcast, which is kind of cool. Anyways, they interview people, or at least one of them goes around interviewing people for content for the podcast. So Wallace is the guy that goes out, Justin Long, and interviews people. Hey, it's a real fucking place.
And it's in Manitoba, Canada, but it's a rural municipality near Winnipeg.
Weird.
Yeah.
So it's country bumpkin Canadians, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. So there's an episode of their podcast where they're watching a video of a dude that had a sword in his garage who accidentally cuts off his own leg.
It was a viral video. And Justin Long, Wallace, call him Wallace, decides to go to Canada to interview this guy for the podcast so he can get content, right? Ends up going to the guy's house in Canada and finds out he killed himself with his own sword. So that plan's out the window. So dude goes to a bar and goes in to take a piss and finds this like letter on the wall, basically. You know, it's sometimes like above a urinal there's going to be all kinds of weird shit. People write stuff on the wall. Sorry, I was distracted. Did you say he killed himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on my cell phone.
He looks up and there's this letter thing on the wall, and it's talking about, I have adventure stories to tell. I have a home with a room. You can live here rent free as long as you do chores and listen to my stories. And Wallace is like, I just want to hear the stories.
And you see later that there was a lot of those pull tabs, you know, like when kids used to do like
here's my number on this,
like
call me.
Fucking I'll cut your grass, and then they'd have like pull tabs where you had all the phone numbers to make it easy.
Yep.
It had a bunch of those on there, but I don't remember seeing that there was a bunch missing, and you saw it later. When was it?
I don't think it showed the bottom of it before.
Yeah, there was a lot of things they didn't show in this movie up front, and then like the added conversation they had on the side, they would show the rest of it.
Yep.
You know, because it's funny when they do that in movies, it's because like if they say the rest, it will ruin the rest of the movie, because you'll be like, but it's like that part maybe they didn't specifically show, or we didn't notice, or we'd have to look back.
It would make sense for those pull tabs, because if he would have realized that there was several or if we would have realized, there's several pull tabs missing, obviously there's multiple people that have gone to that guy before.
Like we knew it was gonna be a fucking walrus movie, like, you know, it's like,
yeah.
What's funny is, like, not to sidetrack, but I've seen Human Centipede. I've seen the first one and not the second one. The second one is like way worse, but you haven't seen either of them.
No.
So it's very, very like I wouldn't say it's the same, but the premise is the same. A fucking crazy doctor dude or whatever. He wasn't a doctor. He was like a fucking boat captain or some shit. But anyway.
So Wallace calls this number for this dude that has adventure stories to tell. Ends up going to a convenience store on the way to his place and says, hey, I'd like to meet tonight. That'd be super cool. And the dude gives him his address. So Wallace gets like a big gulp or something, Canadian style.
What was it called? It was something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't fucking remember. Ends up talking to these two Canadian chicks behind the counter, asking how far the place was. Bifrost is where he was going, away from where he was, which was 2 hours. So he drives to the guy's place, and it's like a house up in the fucking woods, huge fucking mansion style.
Creepy looking.
Creepy.
I mean,
creepy as shit. Goes inside like without knocking, just opens the door and says hello.
Yeah, standard movie bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
I want to comment on the gas station part. How he was being like an uber douchebag to those chicks.
Yep.
Like that. Like I don't know.
Whistling at people.
He feels like he deserves like some misery just based on the way he was fucking talking to people. Like he's like a straight up egotistical piece of shit American. Like I'm better than you. I'm in a different land, but I own it.
It's the way Canadians portray rude Americans.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Which isn't how everybody is, obviously.
Is Kevin Smith American?
Is he? I think he is. Yeah, they're from New England.
Okay.
Yeah, because they do a lot of Northeast humor type shit.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I looked up to see if Justin Long was Canadian because I had a feeling, but no, he's from fucking America.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Haley Joel Osment. He's in this
American
movie too.
also.
So Haley Joel.
Let me look it up.
Haley
Continue.
Joel is the second podcast guy who, the podcast co-host, or maybe co-host. Anyways, fat face Joel Haley Joel Osment. If you guys remember him from when he was a kid, The Sixth Sense, AI, really good child actor. Grows up to be. It's like he has the same size face, but his body got bigger.
He looks like
looking.
that kid from The Sixth Sense.
That is the kid from The Sixth Sense.
No, I'm saying he still looks like him, but he just didn't
like I said,
grow
dude,
up.
His face, like from here to here, is exactly the same.
His acting is essentially worse, though, right?
Everything around it just got bigger.
Yeah.
Super
He
awkward.
hasn't been in anything because he's a child actor, right?
Child star.
Yeah, child star.
Mm-hmm.
Super famous. Favorite line he ever said was "Stutter and Stanley." I say that to this day when people are fucking up just to fuck with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, he hasn't been in anything because of those awkward ages of becoming a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You just look like fucking dog shit, like your ankles and elbows just flying around, So yeah, now he's in movies again. I've seen him in a couple other, but they're like not.
They're not
in movie
movies.
theaters.
Yeah. They're all B, C
I mean,
movies.
what movie's in movie theaters these days with the fucking
I don't know.
coronavirus?
Fucking COVID.
I just flagged this episode by saying that.
It's going to come up with that tag on the bottom that says, to learn more about safety precautions for COVID.
He's an American actor, so they would say a Canadian actor if he was from.
For sure.
Yeah, he was in Forrest Gump, dude.
Oh, that's right. He was the kid. He was Forrest Gump's
He's
kid.
32 years old.
Fucking genius kid.
But he looks the same with a beard.
He's 32 now?
Yeah.
Weird.
1988.
Man. Anyways, Wallace walks into the big house and meets this dude that has a bunch of adventure stories. Howard Howe is his name. Howard is in a wheelchair. Howard is has one leg over the other, just stuck in a wheelchair with controls so he can, motorize around and whatnot. And they immediately just kind of get to it. He starts telling them some stories, has him sit down, offers him tea. Dude goes to the bathroom first.
Very charming chap.
Yeah.
He's a very charming gentleman.
Has a bit of an accent. Kind of like the dude from BBC fucking Planet Earth shit. I forgot.
This dude's been in a bunch of movies.
Yeah,
Let me look this dude up, too. I'll do the fucking fact checking here.
So starts telling him some stories about his past and adventure stories and how he was at the beach of Normandy, but he wasn't on the beach of Normandy. He was on a ship and he met who did he meet? Who the fuck?
Ernest Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway was on the boat too, but he was not allowed to go ashore. So Howard Howe was like a 16-year-old cook in the galley of the ship, and he met Ernest Hemingway, and Ernest Hemingway had this interaction with him, and so he was telling Wallace about this. Wallace is like, "Oh no, shit, that's crazy."
Just to inject here, he was the guy, Howard Howe. He's American.
Everybody's American.
It's clearly American cast, except the girl. I think she might not be, but I mean, we're all Americans.
Damn right.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's American, but what movies has he been in? He's been in a bunch of religious ones. J. Edgar Hoover, Rainbow, Breakthrough, Arizona Heat. I don't know any of these. Let's go to some more. Was he in Snatch? He reminds me of somebody in Snatch. That's an older movie. Tusk, that's what is claimed.
So I guess this is the only one. He's like a B-list.
He's in 2 movies that were not released yet, so he's not going to be in them. Obviously. Anyway, continue.
So, offers Wallace some tea, and Wallace starts drinking the tea while he's listening to these stories. And he gets up and he's looking at all this shit on his wall, and then up on his mantle is this huge, like, 1.5 foot bone, it looks like. So he gets up and he's asking about it.
Oddly enough, we knew exactly what it was before anything was said.
Yes, yeah,
it's like, that's a walrus dick.
It was a big walrus dick. Walrus bone-er. So, if you didn't know, walrus dong is up to like 22 inches in length. Okay, don't ask me.
Huge cock.
Just huge. They have a huge cock, right? Walruses have one of the biggest dongs in the animal kingdom. Of a land animal, anyways. I don't know how big
are they land animals? Are they land?
Well, they're mammal. They go up on land, right? They'd be considered a, what would you call
by
that?
Land and by sea.
By landsia. An extinct walrus penis in 2007. So like some species of walrus from back in the day sold for $8,000. So somebody bought this extinct walrus penis. It was 4.5 feet long. That's crazy. That's a big walrus dong.
Watch out, ladies.
That's the size. That's the size of a very small man.
Yeah.
That's a huge penis. Weird that somebody would want to buy that and just have it on their mantelpiece. Maybe it was a guy that wants to create a walrus.
I mean, the movie said it was based on true events.
That's super weird.
What events?
I maybe just their podcast. I don't know.
I mean, there's stories and movies that do that. Can you say it's based on a true story if it's not?
I don't know.
Because like there's a book called the Necronomicon that is the Book of the Dead. It's what inspired the Evil Dead movie. It's in that, and it's purported by H.P. Lovecraft. He wrote that story to make it seem like it was a real book, and it's like the history of the Necronomicon, and he's telling about the history of it, and it's supposedly a fake story.
Gotcha.
So I wonder if you can say it's based on true events if it's not.
It's a good question.
Anyway,
we should look that up at one
fly.
point. Oh, son of a bitch fly.
It's back. I've been doing episodes. Like I did 2 episodes in between the bad movie review where it was just me.
Yeah.
And that fucking thing. I don't know if it's like a replacement fly, but it's like I can never get it
because fucking tag team, dude.
Dude, I don't really hang out in here looking at fucking for flies. So like it's not even a fly, it's like a fucking gnat.
What is the lifespan of a bug like that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I thought he would have been dead already.
Fucking stuck
good
in
riddance,
a window somewhere,
dude.
right?
He's just maybe he's fucking hanging out and all this shit, and he's just like, oh, they're podcasting again.
Time to come out. It's when you turn on these lights, he just swarms towards them. The light.
He reanimates. Uncana is a CBD company. They make all kinds of CBD products which help people get over shit like anxiety, aches and pains, and general bullshit of the world. Uncanna takes the edge off of life. Everybody's talking about CBD. There's a lot of great companies out there. But if I'm going to pick a company to put in my fucking body, I'm going to choose Uncanna. You know, you go to Uncanna.com, you use code VIOPRO, you get 25% off of all of the CBD products. At least go there and research. They got plenty of information, some fact sheets, the data on how pure and safe their product truly is. What do you have to lose, kids? Go check it out on Canada.com and make sure you use VioPro at checkout for 25% off your entire order of CBD.
Oh, man. So, tea turns out to be some shit that puts you to sleep, clearly.
Standard. Like, you could have seen that coming. I wouldn't go into anybody's... First off, I don't know if I'd be in the situation that he put himself in.
Oh, fuck
you know?
Fuck no.
But there's a lot of things that I wouldn't be in. I wouldn't have walked in the house if nobody answered. It's creepy as shit.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't, I wouldn't be in this position.
I probably would have sent the address to somebody the first time.
Yeah, it's like, I think if I go hiking by myself or something like that somewhere, I text people and go, hey, I'm here in case of fucking, I think I did it because I went with Zia one time and it's fucking cougar country where I was. And I was like, just fucking, maybe I'll fight my way out of this thing. I think maybe, especially if I have my Malinois with me, there's a fighting chance that I could get out of it. I didn't have a fucking knife on me, which is dumb. I didn't have a pistol. I was just going for a hike, and then I saw the signs, and I was like, I'll be all right. But I always text people if I'm going out by myself in case, like, no one hears from me. I'm not answering me. Like, the last place.
That's the smart thing to do.
That fucking... He went into the walrus house.
Fucking Wallace was not very...
Wallace the
walrus. That was kind of a funny
It took us a little bit to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. Not a lot of it.
So he passes out from this tea, wakes up, and he's in his own wheelchair. Howard wheels over to him and says, oh, you got bit by a spider. You were poisoned and you passed out, and the doctor had to take some extreme measures. So he uncovers himself and he's missing a leg, which is ironic because Wallace was going to Canada to interview the one-legged guy because he cut his own leg off.
It was the opposite leg, though.
Yeah, opposite leg.
But still, he lost a leg.
So ironic because he was talking earlier in the movie about, man, that would suck. I mean, I guess that wouldn't be too bad losing a leg because I don't go run marathons or anything. So funny that later on he loses a leg, but he's really upset about it. I mean, yeah, I would be upset too.
If you woke up and you don't have a leg.
Holy shit, my leg's gone.
Why did he cut off both of his legs at that point?
I don't know.
Did one?
Maybe it was... No, fuck, I don't know. Maybe
let's take a fucking page out of the script of Rubber. Sometimes there is no reason.
That's right. No reason. It just elongated the process.
I just answered one of those questions.
You just wanted to interject it into the story and make it longer. That's why. Because they wouldn't have had that interaction probably if that entire interaction wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't be the same.
He was asking for his phone at that point, and Howard was like, "Oh, the doctor took it, or the doctor crushed it," and then he says the doctor took all the other phones out of the house because he wants you to recover well.
Motherfucker's cracking up as he's saying it.
He's just trying to keep back his laughs. Yeah.
Very authentic, like the exploding crow and the rabbit.
Yeah.
It's like he was like trying not to laugh and they just kept it in.
So, Howard goes away. Wallace ends up hearing his phone at one point, and he goes to find his phone.
Another one of those, why the fuck was his phone out?
Yeah,
right where he was.
Yeah, it was on a fucking table in the living room next to where he passed out, actually.
Maybe I don't want to ruin the ending. It's very pivotal.
Maybe he wanted to be found.
He wanted, because of what we find out happens at the end.
Yeah. Maybe
he wanted people to come.
Yeah. To see it could be. For no fucking reason.
Yeah. I that's probably why. But they didn't explain any of that. Anyway, continuing on.
So cutscene, it actually goes back to Wallace's girlfriend he left back in the States. Didn't want him to go to Canada alone. She actually wanted to go with him. Turns out Wallace likes to cheat on his girlfriend, getting roadhead and stuff by roadies, fans of their podcast.
Which Which, I mean,
groupies and
one
shit.
day that'll be us. Except it'll probably be us giving each other roadhead.
Whoa.
Just because we don't have any fans, and we'll have to be like, well, we want to live like Wallace, dude. We gotta make a fucking
like Wallace.
a T-shirt with a walrus on it that says "Live like Wallace."
I will say Wallace had a very amazing porn stash. It was pretty awesome. Justin Long,
A little bit of foreshadowing.
Tip my cap.
Yeah, dude, a little bit of foreshadowing. That was like a walrus mustache.
Yeah, it kind of was, except it wasn't long. It was just Justin Long.
Damn, dude.
Fucking punny today. So, cutscene back, his girlfriend didn't want him to go. It turns out that Wallace's girlfriend is cheating on him with his podcast buddy, Haley Joel Osment. And she's really pissed off at him. She says he's a piece of shit. Not the podcast buddy, but Wallace.
Well, did they actually ever cheat on each other? Because they didn't. He was sleeping a different direction.
Good point.
But he is trying to fuck her.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, she's in his place, and they sleep in the same bed. And
I thought he was he in her place or she was in?
Oh, good point. I don't know.
Who knows? That doesn't matter. But she did say like, "Oh, you're always there for me" and stuff like that. Whenever Wallace goes out of town and stuff like that, like he's a fucking snake.
She makes him get up to go brush his teeth. She says, "Go brush your teeth and then come back to bed," which is super weird.
So it was his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, goes back to Wallace. He gets cut up. Wallace gets cut up a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And then pieced back together in a weird way. Turns into
we missed the part where he explains that, or we find out he can stand up. He's not in a wheelchair.
Yes. So
because I was the fuck does he do these surgeries in a wheelchair? Does he have somebody that helps him?
So Howard gets Wallace to the dinner table. Wallace cannot move his arms, and his dinner's in front of him. He says, "Why aren't you eating?" He says, "I can't move my fucking arms." Howard begins to tell him this story about when he was lost at sea. Or no, you told that before, right?
Yep.
Where he met the walrus. So Howard met a walrus, and it became his best friend while he was stuck for 6 months at sea on this tiny island. So he's fascinated with this, or infatuated with walrus, and I would assume at this point he wants to turn Wallace into one to become best friends with it because he misses his best friend walrus. Called him Tusk.
Mr. Tusk. Yeah.
He named him after Mr. Tuskegee or something.
Mr. Tuskegee.
Tuskegee?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? So that was our assumption is, he wants to be friends with this fucking walrus. Wallace the walrus. Mr. Tusk. So, when he's at the dinner table, Wallace starts screaming and, getting upset, and Howard comes up and just smacks the shit out of him.
Yeah, he gets right out of his wheelchair.
Stands up.
Surprise, surprise. He can walk.
And just slaps that motherfucker hard.
He's got new legs.
It's a miracle. Flashback
to Forrest Gump with Haley Joel Osment.
Oh.
He's got new legs. He can walk.
So I believe that's where it goes dark, and he's I just can't get that fucking picture out of my head when he's just in a bunch of sewn up body parts. Dude.
Doesn't he say you will be a walrus at some point?
Yeah,
he says something that's like, you will be a walrus, or you will live like a walrus, or something like that, or you will die. You'll be a walrus, or you'll die.
Yeah, you have to become full walrus, or you'll die. So
you never go full walrus, man.
At one point, Howard's like cleaning off a piece of bone that looks like a walrus tusk, and
no, we missed the part where he gets his phone and he calls.
Yes, he does. Okay, so Wallace gets his phone and he calls his girlfriend and he calls his podcast buddy and tells him he's in deep shit and he's crying and freaking out. He's like, I'm in some fucking creepy place. Some dude's trying to turn me into some kind of animal. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Gives him just enough information to get his girlfriend and his podcast.
He said, I'm about 2 hours out of Winnipeg, or was he?
Yeah.
something like that.
Manitoba or some
Manitoba.
shit. Yeah.
Call the cops. I need help. Blah blah blah. And he hangs up.
Yep.
He called when the girlfriend and fat face Haley Joel were in bed together, and she had tried to call him and he didn't answer. Clearly. So
that piece of shit, Haley Joel Osment's character, not Haley Joel Osment. Maybe
what the fuck was his name in the movie? I don't even remember what his name was.
I don't fucking know.
Damn it.
He did have a name. I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, it doesn't matter. He saw that he was calling and didn't fucking pick up because he wanted to bang his girlfriend.
Yep.
Piece of shit.
Motherfucker.
I mean, he was there. He was already doing a bet. He was doing him dirty anyway. He's like, fuck it. He's already out cheating.
Technically, if he would have made it, or if he would have like gone to find his friend, they'd still probably be in the same situation.
Yeah,
it just would have been a little bit earlier. That's all. Wouldn't have been in the.
Yeah, because he was already right after the dude saw him on his cell phone, which was conveniently next to him.
Yeah.
He bashed him over the head and then performed surgery on it. So it wouldn't have mattered. It was too late anyway.
Yep. So Wallace gets knocked out again. This time with the huge walrus penis that was on the mantle. Goes through surgery. When he comes to, he's pieced together quite oddly. He's got his arms are sewed to the sides of his body, and both his legs are gone. I can't do it. I can't get this picture out of my fucking head.
He was like sewed like a walrus, but without flippers.
Yes, he still had his hands at that point. His arms were just sewed to the sides of his body. What happened? I feel like there's a part I missed in there.
He was Howard was doing he was talking to him about how he's going to become the walrus and how humankind is all the monster and
the philosophical side.
Yeah, he's like talking about
craziness.
People are the monster, and people will look at him as he's a monster, but he'll live like a walrus and be kind and noble beast.
Oh man, so
oh my god,
he ends up full on looking walrus.
He went full walrus.
Walrus
skin
suit
for a walrus.
Skin suit of a walrus, man. He's got flippers made of skin, longer finger things. It just dude, it was
flippers with the fucking finger bones that are
and
elongated.
Even had a tail with flipper feet on the back of it, and he had a chain around it. So
he couldn't escape somehow.
Couldn't escape this walrus enclosure that he got put in. It looks like he's in, a private enclosure. It's got water all around it like a moat. It's got a bridge that comes across like a drawbridge. And Howard comes in and he's talking to him about being a walrus. And he keeps telling him, you're going to become full walrus. And Wallace starts crying, but it sounds like a fucking walrus.
He doesn't have a tongue.
Doesn't have a tongue, so he's like, just yelling the whole time and screaming and crying. Drool coming off of his face and snot because
he had a walrus-like mustache.
He did. He had huge fucking hairs coming out of his face. I wonder what hairs those were. The nose looked all fucked up on him.
Yeah. You have to go if you're listening to this and you're not getting the mind's eye picture of what we're talking about.
Just Google
Tusk, and it'll come up, and you can see his fucking face.
Well, you'll have to Google Tusk movie because I'm sure. Yeah.
Google
Tusk.
Depends
movie.
on where you are. It'll come up if you didn't look up Tusk movie.
Yeah. So, Howard wants Wallace to learn how to swim. Mr. Tusk. Mr. Tusk needs to learn how to swim, so he pulls him with the chain.
Yeah, let's refer to him as Mr. Tusk from here on out. He gets
pulled into the fucking water by the chain, and while he's in the water, he's trying to fucking swim, but starts sinking a little bit. And while he's underwater, he sees these carcasses of dead Mr. Tusks underwater they got a human skull-looking thing, and then there's tusks coming out of their face, just like he had, which turned out to be his own femurs.
I wonder what a walrus skull looks like.
I don't know, but not like that.
No.
So Howard had turned Wallace's femurs into walrus tusks for Mr. Tusk to have in his mouth.
They don't look like. I was like, maybe they could look like human.
They look super weird. Whoa.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. So podcast co-host and girlfriend wake up the next day, and girlfriend goes to take a piss or something, checks her phone because the phones are charging in the bathroom it's like their only plug, kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
Then she notices that he called, and she listens to the message where he's freaking out, goes and wakes up podcast boy. They both, go into a frenzy. They're like, oh shit, we got to go find him. So they call the cops, and they're on their way to Canada. Cuts back to Mr. Tusk, and at this point, he still sounds the same, and Howard is philosophically trying to get him to turn into a walrus, and you have to
trying to change his mindset, bro.
Accept your fate.
You gotta be the walrus.
Be the walrus. Oh, you must be hungry now. Yeah. So he throws him a fucking mackerel.
To some respect, it worked. I mean, that's a dramatic shift of being human. You change somebody into a fucking walrus. Yeah. You're now a walrus.
And now you have to eat like a walrus. So
you break down the man. You break him down mentally and physically.
Mr. Tusk has to try to eat this raw mackerel with tusks coming out of his fucking mouth.
We were like, there's no fucking way.
There's no way he can do that, but it doesn't show him
it
try to eat it. It just shows like the back of his walrus head while he's like munching on this fucking mackerel, this raw fish. Howard is watching through like a porthole window in this fucking
like a ship.
Yeah, like it's a fucking ship. Just staring at him, just in angst of him eating this fish, and then in like a proud moment, he's like, yes, he's accepting his fate and eating the mackerel, and then he closes the window.
We found out why we missed the part. We found out why he was a crazy person, and the backstory was when he was cutting up Justin Long to be Mr. Tusk. Wallace to be Mr. Tusk he was abused as a child.
Yes, he keeps talking about he was
orphanage that they
got turned into a mental institution.
Yeah, and so he was in a mental institution, and everybody abused him sexually and physically.
Beat him, physically, raped him, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, fucked up.
So fucked his mind up, which is...
I said a few years ago, you'd be like, there's no way that happened. But nowadays, it's I mean, everybody's known that this kind of shit happens, but nowadays, like, for sure, this shit fucking really happens.
What he's saying, what Mike is alluding to is, like, orphanages turning into some abusive places.
Yeah.
Like a mental institution. He's not talking about people making walruses.
I mean, it's based on a true story.
That shit could happen nowadays. Man, some weird serial killers out there. I'll bet there are. Fuck. Missing persons.
Inspired by like Human Centipede and probably not this movie, but other movies like that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Really creepy. I mean, there's a lot of shit happening that nobody knows is happening. Like, there could be a fucking person abducting people and turning them into fucking weird things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're all going to die because you can't fucking do that with people.
Yeah.
The Germans tried it.
Well,
there was Nazi party. Oh, yeah, we forgot that part.
We did forget that part. Fuck. Their podcast was called The Nazi Party.
NOTSEE.
Because C Party. Because it's a play on words.
Yeah, because Haley Joel Osment's character would never go on the trips with him, so he would not see what happened. And
Wallace would try to explain to him the interactions without him seeing it, just verbally.
It's like this, that represents this movie where you're not seeing what the movie was.
Yeah. By the way, when Wallace gets to Canada, the dude from Epic Mealtime is the Border Patrol agent that's at the counter, and he was probably the best actor in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, they're all good.
But he did a great fucking job being that guy.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
He's a funny guy. Tip my cap to you, sir. Epic Mealtime. Old school. Fuck, that's been around a while now. I don't even know if they still do it.
I don't know. They had like a legit TV show, I think, and then
he is Canadian.
Yeah.
He's probably the only Canadian in the fucking movie.
True.
So it goes back, trying to be he's being forced to be Wallace is being forced to be Mr. Tusk, being forced to succumb to his walrus ways, and it's like mind control. There's even like a sheet up with a projector.
He's brainwashing him to be a walrus.
It's like scenes of the ocean. There's seagulls and water. Fucking, he's stuck on a rock. Girlfriend and podcast guy get to Canada, and they go to the cop. Cops can't really help him. They're saying, "Are you sure this isn't just some shit that's going on. Oh, actually, here's the number of this guy who's actually investigating some murders, some missing persons, very similar to your case. So they meet up with this guy, this cop. He's like a French Canadian. Is actually Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's got a rubber nose and some makeup and long hair. Does a very good accent.
He looked the same as when he was in 21 or 22 Jump Street, where he was the cop.
Yeah.
From 21 Jump Street, and they were like, "We've been undercover for fucking whatever."
So Johnny Depp plays this drunk, like fucking weirdo French Canadian investigator who is making it his lifelong mission to hunt down this serial killer who has been dismembering people and putting them back together in weird ways. They didn't really allude to it being like turned into animals, but he's like something weird is happening to these people.
He didn't know,
Yeah. So when he's trying to find out information and investigate, he says, I think I met this guy one time. And it cuts scene to like him meeting Howard Howe, but at the time he had a different name. Bartholomew something.
Yeah.
And
really weird interaction that was like
very odd interaction.
I think that part of the movie was so drawn out. It was just like, okay, we get it. Like you met him, but it was just like that scene went on for like 10 minutes or something like that.
Awkward.
And Howard Howe was acting like he was retarded or something. Like he was
like he had a speech thing. He was like some old fucking Canada that just it was a Canadian hillbilly.
Went on for no reason.
So, but imagine if that French Canadian investigator actually went to find that spider. You think he'd be a fucking walrus? So,
yeah.
So, that's how Howard
or not. I mean, he had a gun on him, right?
Yeah. Well, no, maybe
he wasn't. He just said he wasn't allowed to shoot you. Discharge his firearm at an insect, but that was disappointing to him.
So, Howard at the time had a different accent and a different like character he was in.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the investigator, like in this flashback of the investigator's mind, saying, "Oh, there's a brown recluse in my shitter, basically. And are you here to get it? Because I called the cops to come take care of my problem here." And Johnny Depp was like, "Nope, that's not what I'm here for. I'm investigating a missing persons case of this hockey player who went missing." So he's telling. Then it cuts back to he's telling podcast guy and the girlfriend about this case where he went, and he's like, "I think I met this son of a bitch." And then we found the torso of this hockey player later on stuck in a sewage system in some part of the country. So they end up following the trail, trying to get to the last known place that he went. So they got a rental car and they're going to these stops, all the same stops that Wallace went to on his way up to meet this guy. So they hit up that same convenience store where Wallace was being a dick to the Canadian chicks behind the counter, and they go through this interaction, end up finding the address by doing like a rubbing on the paper pad that he wrote the address down when he got there. He was on the phone with Howard. So they get the same address and they're racing to get there. So in the meantime, it's back at Howard's house. Howard walks in and he's like, you have to become the walrus, and the only way to be ready to be a real walrus is if you can defeat me in combat, basically. Yeah. So turns out Howard, when he was stranded on the island for 6 months, on the last day he ended up killing Mr. Tusk and eating him.
Yeah.
Eating part of him like raw fucking walrus blubber. And then like an hour later he gets rescued. So in his mind he's like, I have to continue this tradition of killing this walrus, but in a twist he will also be wearing a walrus suit. So he makes his own walrus suit and he tries to fight Mr. Tusk. And he says, "You must defeat me. The only way to become a real walrus is to kill me."
We missed the part where he fucking was naked swimming with him.
Oh, when he's trying to teach him.
And we don't know if he tried to give him a blowjob or what.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, so he's teaching him to swim.
Just by the wrist ankles, if you want to call them that.
And then he like pushed his head underwater and he's completely naked. And it looked like he was trying to get a blowjob, but it was so quick.
Yeah.
Don't know if that happened.
I don't think it
know.
did.
Yeah.
Underwater blowjob, he'd probably drown.
Bite his dick off, right?
Yeah.
All right. Damn it.
I don't know if he had any top teeth.
Couldn't see it.
You could see the bottom ones.
Yeah.
But not the top ones.
Glistening.
Fuck. Good teeth, Justin Long.
Yeah. Good character of the walrus. Ping Pong Tactical is a tactical hard use gear company out of the Pacific Northwest. They have a plethora of holsters and accessories as unique as you are, built to your exact specifications. You want a holster with a dragon on it? Maybe you want a holster with 2 dragons intertwined looking back at you. Well, if you want that, they got you, son. You want a place to put your screaming keys so they're easier to locate when they scream at you? They got you as well. You got a weed rolling tray, man? No? Well, it'd be a lot cooler if you did, man. Just ask Logan over at Ping Pong Tactical, and he will hook you up with any codex your little black heart desires. So go check them out at pingpongtactical.com and use code VIOPRO at checkout for 10% off your entire order, man.
So they end up fighting like walruses on the beach. They're bumping each other.
Fucking hilarious scene, dude. I was laughing my ass off. Smashing each other with tusks.
And at this time, during this epic walrus fight, the 3 saviors arrive, and they're going through the house with guns, by the way.
At that point, Justin Long has forgot he's human.
Yes,
I think it's clear. He's just like, I'm a walrus now, and I must
save myself. Epic fight, and Howard stands up and breaks out of his meat suit, his walrus suit, and stands up like a real man. He's like, now you have
wearing
to defeat
the walrus head still.
Defeat me as a man. And
just as your survival instincts have kicked in, mine have as well.
So he ends up. How did he end up on the ground? How did Howard end up on the ground?
Mr. Tusk stabbed him.
That's right, in the foot.
Yeah.
So Mr. Tusk uses his tusk to stab Howard in the foot. Howard falls down, and Mr. Tusk begins to stab with his face into
his last
Howard.
bit of humanity is revenge.
Yes, and he's shaking and
Last
blood
instinct.
everywhere. And at that point, after the last stab, podcast guy and the girlfriend burst through the door to save Mr. Tusk, and they're appalled by what they see.
Yeah,
oh my
surprisingly, they're horrified. I looked over at Mark and I said, like, bro, what would you do? Like, in any of these characters, this would be shocking. Where like Justin Long wakes up as a fucking walrus, even though he knows he's gonna be a walrus. You wake up and look down and you're a fucking walrus. Like, imagine the horror of like I was missing, and I'm like, hey, I'm going for a hike, and then all of a sudden all that shit occurs, and then you're like, he's just gonna be murdered. You know, like that's shocking enough.
I'm just gonna find body parts everywhere.
You look at it like, like, you know,
and I told you straight up, like, if I was one of those people, I probably would have shot him. We're gonna out of his fucking misery.
We're gonna fist bump and make a pact right here that if either one of us turn into some weird looking animal,
fucking kill me.
Kill each other. I'm not even gonna fucking go.
Nope.
I'm not even gonna feel bad about it.
Nope.
I will feel good and relieved that I am relieving you of this fucking existence.
And I will be relieved to be relieved.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, man, holy shit! I wonder
sweet slumber.
I wonder if Mr. Tusk ever saw himself like in a mirror or anything.
He did. He was looking at. Remember they had that scene where he was looking at the water. Yeah,
that's okay. Got it.
That's what he's crying, and he starts to make sounds like a walrus.
So French Canadian guy shows up after the other two did, and he's pointing this look like a shotgun.
Yeah,
pointing the shotgun at Mr. Tusk, and Mr. Tusk is like, you can tell he's like, fucking do it. But they don't do it. They don't fucking kill him.
They cut away. I would have loved if they had added like a shotgun blast in that exact part where he didn't if they were like gonna keep him alive, they didn't kill him. It just like the girlfriend. They pushed it. Go black, and it goes boom, and then they cut back to that later where the shotgun's blasted. Been
smart, but no sound, no gunshot. Cutscene to a wildlife sanctuary, and
This is where you before that happened when it went black.
Yeah,
you made a fucking. You're I bet he's fucking in a zoo. What'd you say?
I said he's probably still alive and he's kept somewhere.
Yeah, and I was like, no, you're fucking right, dude.
Girl pulls up in a car with podcast guy and she's got something wrapped in a newspaper.
No. You said we were both like that's a fucking walrus
fish.
dick. Walrus dick first, right?
You said it was a walrus dick. I said that's a fish wrapped up in a fucking newspaper. So they pull up to this wildlife sanctuary and walk in.
He's fucking alive. Wallace lives.
They kept him alive in a wildlife sanctuary with his own little enclosure.
It was
looks
the
like
worst
a fucking igloo, and it looks like a fucking LA fucking backyard zoo.
Dude, it is like
with a shitty pool.
That was like saying something about like enclosures, like they're fucking inhumane.
Yeah.
He had a fucking beach ball and a little shitty fucking algae-filled pool that was like fucking as big as he was.
Cement looking fucking shitty igloo that he lived in. And
they're probably like coming up with this like we gotta make this fucking thing as small as shit, like to just say zoos are horrible.
So she's like, hey, it's us. Throws the fish down and he comes out and he's munching on the fish and she screams at him, Wallace, and she's talking, I love you, and he's looking up at her and that last bit of humanity is still there and he starts making walrus noises again. And then it's over.
Tries to say I love you.
Because she said I love you, but the dude's still alive in a fucking walrus suit and he's in an enclosure. He can't kill himself unless he drowned himself, which I would have done. I probably would have killed him.
Say the events transpire and like you're in that same situation in that enclosure, I would poison a fish. But I would take that shotgun and blast you in the fucking face.
Yeah,
like,
please
like,
do.
But if it went past and I was like so like fucked up and I'm just like I can't fucking do it. I can't kill Mark.
Podcast guy should have shot him at the fucking enclosure in the first place when they showed up with guns.
That's the logical thing. But the dude didn't.
Oh my god!
He didn't want a gun.
Yeah,
he was just like, I don't. What do we do with that? He's like,
if the girl really
Americans don't want guns. Are you kidding
what is
me?
This shit? If the girlfriend really cared, she would have fucking shot him, right?
Yeah,
I would have. Man,
but there's a fucking roller coaster of emotions.
There is. Oh, well, I still.
There's an ocean of emotions happening.
Maybe someday there will be a way to reverse the walrus.
And I think you could. You're not going to look the same.
No,
I think in that
still
situation,
be a paraplegic.
Yeah, you'd be like
or quadriplegic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he got it. Yeah, his arms and legs.
Well, no, because he still had his arms.
Yeah, they were. So they didn't cut him short. They were just sewed there
out like this.
So they could fix him. He just would have metal legs.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been.
They would have to fix his face, which would be
his whole
fucked
body
up. Yeah.
I wonder if he was like encased in a weird way. Well, because
didn't the dude? Yeah, they skin the bodies. So the guy skins them, and then puts the walrus suit from other people on him. Got it. So essentially, they could bring him back, but he would. I don't know. He'd have to use massive amounts of skin grafts or something from somebody else, a donor. It's possible to bring him back, but not to full capacity. Just looking fucked up.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah. He probably would have looked the same as he looked, just in human
a little
form.
bit. Yeah, a little bit
sewn together everywhere. Just
that'd be a lot. That'd be a large medical bill.
Yeah, it would. It would.
So.
But long story short, dude get turned into a walrus, and it's fucked up. And this whole movie was made by Kevin Smith and a group of people, obviously.
Silent Bob, man.
Silent Bob. He's a producer, executive producer, fucking everything. He
edited the movie.
Edited the movie.
His name's all over the credits. He's just like, I'm going to do this.
It's made from a story from their podcast. What was the podcast name?
I think it's the Schmodcast podcast.
Yeah, Schmodcast podcast.
Yeah.
And they were telling, like, in their very similar to the OLP, to where
not the story. It's just how it fucking happened.
How it happened. They're like, hey, let's make this story up, and then we're gonna make a movie about it. So that's
the difference
really
between like that what they did and what I've done with the OLP is they have a shit ton of money to make that happen.
Yes. And
if I had their fucking,
let's actually
if I had
their
assets, Kevin Smith's assets.
Oh, we did.
It would be done already. Yeah,
absolutely.
I already been writing shit about it. Like I just don't know.
We had that script. Remember that?
I still have it. It's actually over there, but I just haven't done anything with it because I think like when we did the audio thing and then like we're going to do an audio series because that's easy. But I think like if if it was to be done right, it should be like a 6-part series on YouTube.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or like you can go to the website or the Violent Professional website and download it or something. You just pay like a certain amount and then you get like actors. That's why I started buying all that fucking like the new lens and shit for prep for like
nice
making videos for stuff we do, but also like maybe I'll fucking figure out something like I'll write a script and actually fucking get people to be actors and make like a fucking YouTube video.
That'd be cool.
But I don't want to do like some shitty like home camera stuff. It's like if I do it, I've got to write a script, and maybe it would be kind of like there'd be characters from that fucking 20-page script I wrote.
Yeah.
But I think I could like already have some ideas about how like it starts in a like the OLP has been established, and this is before the fucking. It's using the ideas from the OLP episodes, but making it like it's in the early stages of like now they're recruiting all of these different elements of the OLP. It's the starting of the cult, and they have a place in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So it would be like it would start on. There'd be some B-roll of Wyoming, so like I was gonna actually go out there and film some shit. But it like obviously nothing's done with it other than that initial script that I wrote. And then it would start where they're doing a fucking like a sermon to whoever or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. So like that's as far as I have with it. But if I'm gonna do it, it would be I think like audio would be fine, but I think it's too easy. You know what I mean? Like we could do it, but it's you have to do all of the sound effects and shit too.
Oh, yeah.
Like car closed, and then it's just like a fucking year of just recording shit to piece it in,
running, fucking
stuff like that.
Chip bags, sodas opening, all that bullshit.
But I'll figure it out. Eventually, I'll either fucking hire someone to like make a comic book or something, or fucking whatever. And then like
once we blow up, then we
it's gonna happen.
Just send the story to Kevin Smith and be like, hey, listen.
I think it's got, dude. I think the fucking idea.
Let's do this.
It has legs. Like that's a favorite episode.
Sure.
Like it's got legs. Like I'm making fucking bobblehead characters and shit. Like
I wonder if like I don't know if somebody like that, some A-list or B-list guy would be like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
It's possible.
You never know. Yeah.
The script, like it just has to be written.
Yep.
Like it just, I've got to start building a framework, and I already wrote down. I think it's in here actually, which I got to be more organized about this.
It's all
it's like there's other shit in here, but like I generally want the six. And I wrote it down, and I went off of the Dan Harmon plot circle is what it's called, and it's basically like introducing
character development.
And it just goes through to where like they have to go find something, and then they have to be redeemed or whatever, and then come back. And he does it in Rick and Morty all the time.
How to create the hero, the villain, and all that.
So, and you can do that within a chapter of it. So essentially, it was like, okay, we've got to introduce all these characters, and you can introduce characters throughout the fucking series of it. You have to introduce the fucking whole thing. What is it? Get people's heads wrapped around it, and then have them have a main character emerge, and then he has to go find something, essentially what it is, and just like, that's a general idea. So I would have to build the framework of that and how it ends, and to potentially go on, because it would just be like one solid storyline to get people hooked, just like a series of stuff.
Yep.
And who knows how long that is, but you have to get the framework built and then start piecing in there, like what the story is for each fucking episode.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And do that kind of step. Tell the story about like how does it lead up to now it's a space exploration program. How do they fucking get everybody, financial investors, all these famous people to be on board with building rockets and shit in Wyoming?
Dude, Elon Musk.
Yeah. Elon Tusk, dude.
Elon Tusk.
Or it was Leon Tusk, I think, was the main investor that got us all the rockets. Like, you know what I mean? So then after, like, you write the script, it's got to be, like, obviously edited and put in the correct formats and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I write very, like, throw your fucking ideas out there. Fuck grammar, fuck spelling, fuck all this shit. Like, I think maybe you've seen like the one thing I wrote, the biggest thing I wrote, and then it's just like it's just like
it's
this
you threw
fucking
up on the page.
Yeah, because like I don't think if I was to sit there and just like go like, okay, well, how does this? It's not going to be accomplished.
It's hard to be structured. Yeah.
So like
absolutely.
that's where like my first draft of anything is just like just fucking just diarrhea all over.
And that's the best way to start, honestly.
Yeah. So, I think it's got the, you know, I've got enough ideas for it. It's just getting that shit fucking out. Get it out. And I gotta fucking start doing it. I have the framework in here about what the episodes are.
Yeah.
And I gotta look for it somewhere in there.
So if we want to rate this, back to Tusk.
Yeah, do the fucking.
We gotta rate this. We gotta rate this movie. The cast. How many Death Cheetahs? 1 out of 5. Was it 1 out of 4 or 5?
It's 1 out of 5.
1 out of
5 is like they're like it's the best. 1 is worst.
Honestly, I'm gonna throw my honest opinion out there for the cast. I'm gonna give it a 4 Death Cheetah.
Yeah.
The only reason it's not getting a 5 is because I didn't like Johnny Depp's character. That French Canadian guy could have played by somebody different, and it probably would have been better. Just saying.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think
they should have just taken all that plastic shit off him because I don't think you really know. I think you might be like, is that Johnny Depp? I know who that is. And maybe that was the intent of it.
Yeah, it could be.
But like, if they had just had him dressed up and like had the beard
he
shit on, like,
better, probably.
Yeah, because that once you know it's Johnny Depp, you're like, oh, that's fake shit on his face.
Yeah.
But maybe they were trying to. Maybe it was one of those things like they were trying to do like it's surprising once you figure out who was that guy. I knew where he was, and you look him up. You're like, that was Johnny Depp.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
I think they should have. Yeah, I think it would have been. Maybe if it was just like a short part, it would have been better. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
you never know because. I mean, if I didn't say it was Johnny Depp,
I probably wouldn't have known
because I knew he was in the movie, but I was like, "That's Johnny Depp."
Once you told me in like certain scenes, you could kind of see it, but most of it, you wouldn't be able to fucking tell. He goes very deep into character when he plays in movies. Yeah, and he didn't remind me of Jack Sparrow or anything else. Nope. Except for like a few parts where he's talking, you can kind of hear his Johnny Depp voice a little bit, and you're like, okay, I can see
at the. Past the credits where he's like, I shouldn't have eaten those 2 sliders.
Yeah.
Like,
visual effects. I'm gonna
compare it to what did I give for Rubber? I mean, you can't. They're different movies.
Either 4 or 5. I don't.
I'd give it a 5. I think because I was like blown away by how realistic it looked.
Yep. I'd say a 3.
3? Why?
Because the suit did not look very good.
At one point, his head got sucked in by accident. It was like.
It's like a dick.
Yeah. I would have liked to see the suit heal up a little bit because obviously it was still viable. Like it was still, he was in that enclosure and it was still the same thing, but they didn't like color in the stitching. Like it was still, it looked like it was still healing or infected. You know what I mean? Like
in which case he would have died because that's a lot of sewn together parts.
Yeah. And scars don't really look like that. So.
Not at all. They would have mended together and all that.
There was no real visual effects.
That was the only visual effects was the Tusk suit.
Do you think Justin Long did his own stunts in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Safe to say there were no stunts.
There was no stunts except for
that fight was a stunt.
Yeah, they were just kind of bumping each other though, and then
funny
the face stabbing.
I'll go with you on that.
So a 3. Yeah. So we have what do we have? A 4.
Just because the suit looked shockingly fucking bad, even though it was awesome.
Yeah,
like it was
still.
I was like, that's fucking terrifying, dude.
Absolutely disturbing to see.
Yeah, even like the first time you see it is like, God, dude, that's fucking gross. Because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Like even I've seen pictures of it before we watched this movie, but I was like, God, it's shocking, dude. It's fucking horrible.
I would wear that suit as like a Halloween gag type thing.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think it's horrifying because you empathize with his situation, like being.
You're like, oh fuck, that would suck.
Like I've never been trapped in a creepy mansion where I'm turned into something, but as like I can empathize with his situation and just like, God, that's. And it's not the suit that's fucking terrifying or like disturbing. It's like fucking God being trapped and like cut. Yeah,
where you can't move your arms correctly and you can't scratch your face. You think he
had
any
feeling?
That
would drive you insane.
You think he had any feeling in that?
There's got to be
suit?
There's got to be a lot of trauma.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think even if with those if that's fused to his body, which it wasn't because
Mhm.
he's just cut up and stuff like that. But I don't know because he still goes on.
Yeah.
Wallace
Yeah.
lives, so he I think maybe your nerve endings have to fuse with that suit too, so you could feel you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't have happened. But
No, he.
so
I
yeah,
mean, in
he
all
could feel.
actuality, guys, he would have died during this
Yeah.
surgery. But
Yeah, you wouldn't survive this.
Yeah, you can't survive.
Like I
There's
said,
no
the
fucking
Nazis tried this in World War II to make fucking robotic
way.
humans, cyborgs. They tried to make cyborgs.
There were things that happened, like a dog. They did surgery on a dog and removed its head, or a chimpanzee. There was a bunch of head swaps, and the creatures lived for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
and then they died.
but they tried to make super soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
They did all different kinds of robotics, like fusing them with humans, and
Yep.
those fucking people died or they lost their
Mm-hmm.
limbs because you can't do
Yep.
that
Absolutely.
in those days. At least I'm pretty sure you could probably do
So,
it these days.
The plot of this movie. The plot. What would you give this plot?
I mean, we got to look at what we're watching, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a fucking world, like the greatest fucking story ever
Mhm.
told, but in the lens of what we're looking at, I would say it was entertaining. I would go with a 4.
I'm gonna completely agree with you on that because I was entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Rubber where I'm like, what the fuck? It was more like, holy shit.
What did we give Rubber as far as the story?
For
Like,
the plot?
Yeah. Did we
Fuck,
give
I
it a
don't
fucking 1 or something?
There was no plot to that
Yeah.
fucking movie.
There was, though.
Kind of.
I think we disagreed on that,
reason.
maybe.
Yeah, we
I
did.
don't remember.
That
That was a couple weeks ago.
So we got a 4, a 5, and a 4. Or no, sorry. 4, 3, 4. 4, 3, 4.
So it'd be a
cast, we got a 4. Visual effects a 3. Plot's a 4. So overall,
4.
a 4.
4 Death Cheetahs.
4 Death Cheetahs.
recommended movie. I think like you should probably watch this movie.
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I would.
It's entertaining for sure.
It is
it's fucking
entertaining. Justin Long does a good job playing a fucking fucked up walrus guy.
Yeah.
Good job, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, liked your movie. It's great. 4 out of 5
Impressive.
Death Cheetahs. You should be, if you ever fucking listen to this, which you're probably not, but if you are, proud of your creation. Frankenstein's monster. It's a modern day take on a fucking Frankenstein's monster. You know,
It is.
And
it
it's
is.
good for Halloween.
I have to say, it is probably the best shitty movie that I've seen in a long time.
Yes. But I don't know if it's a shitty movie.
Yeah, well, somebody suggested it as a shitty movie. That's the premise.
So yeah, it's not a bad movie.
Fuck you, joke's on you.
But,
This is a good movie.
Yeah, we liked it. We thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, and I guess what do we got next? Do you want to watch it? Because we're not gonna do 4. I don't think I can stomach 4.
We got a few
Finish
more
out
to
the
choose
fucking-
from here.
We got Sharknado. And
It was like Sharknado 6 or some bullshit.
the last
right?
Sharknado. I just picked that one because
Sharknado
it was
69.
yeah, they have
Something
a
like
T-Rex in it or
Bunch
something
of
like
dildos
that.
flying around.
I don't want to do
Shark
one
dicks.
because I already saw pictures of that, and it's just like I don't know if I could fucking watch that.
Well, then there's Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah, we got to finish out with Leprechaun
Yeah,
Hood. I've seen that one though.
I think I've seen that one a long time ago.
You want to do that one?
Part of that.
Sharknado or Leprechaun in the Hood?
Fuck. 2 movies I don't want to watch.
You gotta finish it out, and that would be a happy ending to the fucking bad movie because that was
Yeah.
the same as last time. Like we ended it and we were like, fucking thank goodness this is over.
You know, we're getting close to Halloween. I say we do Leprechaun.
okay. Leprechaun in the Hood
Makes sense.
There we go.
Makes sense to me.
Congratulations, you got us to do it. Fucking dumb.
At least we got Tusk.
Yeah.
At least we got Tusk.
Just hold on to that memory.
Now
And
it's gonna be like the rating for the rest. Well,
Yep.
It wasn't as good as Tusk.
And one day, we could all hope to live like Wallace.
No.
Oh.
Fucking Wallace the Walrus, Mr. Tusk.
Okay, what else do you got to say about this movie as we close this episode out?
I hope I don't dream
Highly
about
anticipated episode of Tusk. You gonna dream about it?
it. No. I hope not. Anyways, if I wake up like sweating like I was abducted and
You're gonna be filing this in the fucking memory bank tonight.
yeah,
You're like, ah! Like, you just fucking wake up.
I'll
No!
be making walrus noises in my sleep.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh
epic walrus fight. Man, that made me sweat.
For Death Cheetahs, check it out.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.